What is the center of a circle given by the equation x squared plus y squared minus 10x minus 11 equals 0? All right, so this is the equation of a circle, but it's in general form, and we really need it to be in standard form in order to figure out the center. So let me put the equation, again, you would go to your EOC review, your formula sheet, and you would find the equation of a circle. This is the form we wanted to end up in because then we know the center is h, k. So we're going to do a method called completing the square. So here's what we do when we complete the square. The first thing we do, step 1, is we group our x's and y's together. So what that's going to look like is we're going to take x squared minus 10x and leave a blank. Then we're going to group our y's, y squared, and then there's no middle term. So I'm going to put 0y for right now, and then I'm going to leave a blank. And that is going to equal, we want to make sure we take this number here and we move it to the other side. So I'm going to add 11 to both sides. So that's going to equal positive 11. Okay, so we grouped our x's and y's, and we left a blank on this side for the red and the blue. But whatever we do to one side of the equation, we have to do to the other. So I'm going to go ahead and color code blanks on that side as well. Because I'm going to fill in a number here to complete this perfect square trinomial, and I'm going to fill in a number here. But if I add it to this side of the equation, obviously I have to add it to this side as well. Okay, so now we're going to look at how to actually complete the square. So our second step is we're going to take the middle term and we're going to divide it by 2 and square it. Alright, so let's put that into action. And actually, I'm going to go ahead and write down what I'm trying to get to. I like to go ahead and put this down here as well. My ultimate goal is I want x plus or minus some number, and then y plus or minus some number to equal the radius squared, so some number squared. Okay, so now I'm going to do a little bit of work to get to that ultimate goal. So I'm going to take this middle term here, this negative 10. I'm going to divide it by 2, which is negative 5. That's actually what's going to go down here. And then I'm going to square it, which is 25, and that's what I'm going to add to each side up here. Now I'm taking massive shortcuts. So let me just go ahead and tell you. What I've done right here is I've completed the square. I've made this a perfect square trinomial so that when it factors down to x minus 5 squared. But I'm taking a shortcut here because I know that this is going to factor to whatever I get when I divide that middle term by 2. Okay, so let's do it for the blue part as well, the y values. You take your middle term, which is 0. You divide it by 2, it's still 0. That goes down here. And then you square it, and it's still 0. So I'm going to add 0 to this side, and I'm going to add 0 to that side. Remember, whatever you add to one side of the equation, you have to add to the other. And then the last thing that I'm missing, which you don't even actually have to have for this problem, but you would need to add these up to figure out the radius. So this would be 36. So you could either write that as 6 squared or you could write it as 36. But once you have it in this form, the center is h, k. And just notice up here it's a negative h. And down here we want it to be a positive h. So that means we need to change the sign. So our center would be at positive 5, 0. Because it's negative in the equation and we want it to end up being positive. So it just basically means do the opposite. If it was positive, we would make it negative. If it's negative, we're going to make it positive. So our center of the circle is 5, 0.